Okay, so now we are going to have problems involving equations of kinematics. Okay, so here I have shown you a table here. This is the equations of kinematics for constant acceleration. I have here four kinematic equations, and then these are the different variables, your x, this could be your distance. X siya if it represents a distance in a horizontal plane or in a horizontal direction or along the x-axis. Tapos acceleration, and then we have here the final velocity, your initial velocity, and then your time. Okay, so these are the important variables, okay, na kailangan nating malaman in solving a problem. So this is interchangeable. It could be a speed or a velocity. So depende sa problem or word problem. And then we have here your equation 1, equation 2, 3, 4. Okay, so these are four equations. So yung mga check dito, it represents kung ano yung given and then yung kailangan sa problem. Tapos itong mga dash, okay, ito yung mga wala sa problem. Okay, or hindi hinahanap sa problem. Okay, so how to use this equation? So I have here a problem. Let's say we have this first problem. Upton Chuck, I'm sorry, I don't know how to read this. Is riding the giant drop at Great America if Upton free falls for 2.6 seconds. What will be his final velocity and how far will he fall? So in this case, since we have here a free fall na word, ibig sabihin, yung direction natin is along the vertical plane or along our y-axis. So, pwede natin i-change itong x as your y. Okay, and then your a here is automatically negative 9.8 meter per second squared. That's the acceleration due to gravity. Okay, so first we write the given. So, ang given dito is your acceleration or your acceleration due to gravity. This could be your negative g. Okay, that's negative 9.8 meter per second squared. Okay, and then the other given is we have here your initial velocity, which is 0 meter per second. Okay, and then your time, that's 2.6 seconds. Okay, so bakit yung initial velocity natin is considered as 0? It's because he is at the top and then nag-free fall siya. So while at the top, he's not moving. So 0 si initial velocity natin. So mostly, if the problem is in free fall, kapag free fall yung motion natin, always yan siya na yung initial velocity natin is equivalent to 0. And then also, always din yan na ang acceleration natin is negative 9.8 meter per second squared. That is your acceleration due to gravity. So here, what we are looking for is your final velocity and then how far will he fall or yung distance natin. So first, we will solve for your final velocity. Okay? So what are we going to use among these four equations? So we have here, we are looking for your final velocity. This is for the first question. Okay, so meron tayong, you can see this here. Wait. So ito, meron dito A, V naught, T, and then Vf. So here you have A, sorry, I think this one, your A, wait, this one, the first one, your A, Vf, V naught, and then T. Okay, makita ninyo, ito sila lahat, nandito siya, may check siya dito sa first equation natin. So yung first equation natin, yung gagamitin na to solve the final velocity. So this is Vf is equal to V naught plus AT. Okay. Now all you have to do is substitute the values you have here. Your V naught is 0 plus your negative 9.8 meter per second squared times your time, that's 2.6 seconds. Okay? So your final velocity now is, so you have here 0 plus negative 9.8 times 2.16 seconds. Okay. So you have negative 25.48. Since you're looking for velocity, your unit now is meter per second. So that is how you use your equations of kinematics. Okay, so make sure that you have a copy of this table. This is very important in solving word problems with this type of word problems. Sorry. This is important in solving this type of word problems. Now, what about the distance? Okay, so ngayon hahanapin natin how far will he fall. Okay, so to look for the distance, since given na tayo ng acceleration, your V naught, your time, final velocity, andito na, nasolve na natin sa final velocity. Okay, or even if we haven't solved your final velocity yet, we can use this equation. Okay, kahit wala pa ito siya. Okay, for example, wala pa tayo nakasolve nito. And then we are looking for your distance. So dito si distance, gagawin ko siyang y instead of x. Okay, since it is along your y direction or your y-axis. Okay, so I have here, ito siya. This is interchangeable. Pwede siya maging y. Okay. So, ito yung gagamitin natin. Your third equation. Okay, kasi meron tayong y, or your distance. Meron tayong acceleration. Wala tayong final velocity if your final velocity is not yet given. And then meron tayong initial velocity and then your time. Okay? So we are going to use this formula or this equation. So that's x or your y equal to v naught t plus 1/2 at squared. Okay, so substitute the values. V naught, that's 0 meter per second times 2.6 seconds plus 1/2. Your acceleration due to gravity, that's negative 9.8 meter per second squared. Okay, so don't forget the negative. And then your time is 2.60 seconds. So dito, si time lang yung naka-square. Okay, that's squared. Okay. And then you plug in these values using your calculator. So 0 times 2. This is 0 times 2.6, 2.60. That's 0 basically. Okay, plus 1/2, or pwede po siyang gawing 0.5 because equivalent namin siya sa 1/2 times negative 9.8. Okay, can you see? Okay. Times your 2.60 seconds. Tapos naka-square yan siya. Okay? You will get negative 33.12. So negative 33.12. So this is y, or this is a distance. So yung unit natin is in meters. Okay? So that is how you use your equations of kinematics. So, so that is how important your equations of kinematics. Okay, now what about using the other equations? So another example we have here, rocket-powered sleds are used to test the human response to acceleration. If a rocket-powered sled is accelerated to a speed of 444 meters per second in 1.83 seconds, then what is the acceleration and what is the distance that the sled travels? So in this case, you're given with a speed and then time. So yung una ninyong gagawin is first to solve for your acceleration. Okay. So this is to accelerate to a speed. A rocket-powered sled is accelerated to a speed. So ibig sabihin, it is from rest and then it accelerated. So isusulat ko muna yung given. You have here your speed or your final speed. That's 444 meters per second. And then your time, 1.83 seconds. So in this case, our initial velocity is considered as 0. Bakit 0? Because we have your sled accelerated to a speed. Ibig sabihin from rest at tapos nag-accelerate lang siya. Okay, so you have to analyze the problem in order for you to know if the speed is initial ba siya na speed or final speed ba siya, or your velocity is initial or is it a final velocity. Now here we have dalawa yung nahanap natin. We have the acceleration and then the distance. So to look for acceleration, we can use your formula for acceleration, that's delta V over T. Kasi meron naman tayong dalawang velocity or dalawang speed, and then we also have the time. Okay, so 444 meter per second, minus 0 divided by 1.83 seconds. Okay, so you will get 444, 242.62 meter per second squared. Okay, so we already solved for the acceleration. Now what about the distance that the sled traveled? So since meron tayong acceleration, we can use now your kinematics equations for constant acceleration to solve for our distance. So dito, hindi siya naka-free fall. Okay? Yung problem natin is not in free fall. It means along the x lang siya. So pwedeng x lang yung i-represent natin for your distance. Okay? So here, ngayon magbe-base naman tayo sa given. You're now given with v sub f, or your final velocity. You're also given with your initial velocity. You're given with time, and then we are going to look for your x. Okay. So here, we can use equation, I think we can use this equation. Let's try first using equation number 2. So that's x, 1/2, our v naught is 0, plus our final velocity, that's 444 meter per second, and then the time is 1.83 seconds. Okay? So as long as given yung problem, given yung variables natin, so we can select which equations we're going to use. So here, this is 0, 1/2. So 1/2, I will write it down in my calculator as 0.5 times 0 plus 444. Okay. times 1.83. So I will have now 406.26 meters. So ito na yung distance. Now what if we use equation 3? Okay, what if I will use equation 3? Kasi nag-solve naman tayo ng acceleration. So I can still use equation 3. So it depends on your reference as long as makuha lang niyo yung answer. Okay? So you can use any of this equation as long as it is appropriate for the given, okay? Or as long as ma-solve siya using your given. So I will plug in the values, your V naught. So this is another, okay, this is using equation number 2. Okay. Now here we are going to use equation number 3. Okay, dito na problem. Okay. So plug in 0 times 1.83 seconds plus 1/2. Our acceleration is 242.62 meter per second squared. Okay, and then the time is 1.83 squared. So this is 0. So 0 times 1.83 is basically 0. So you have your 0.5 times 242.3 times 1.83 squared. So the answer is still the same. You will get 406.26 meters. So this is your x. Okay. Now what if I can still use equation number 4. Okay, pwede rin gamitin sa equation number 4. This is your final velocity equal to initial velocity squared plus 2ax. Okay, but in using this equation, you have to transpose first your equation para maging x na lang yung matira sa isang side. Okay, so in this case, I will transpose v naught squared sa kabila. Okay, so magiging negative na si v naught squared since from positive, lilipat sa kabila, is equal to 2ax. Okay, tapos I will multiply both sides by 1 over 2a. Okay, so that's 1 over 2a. Para x na lang yung matira dito na side. Sa right. 1 over 2. So, makancel dito si 2a. Yan, makancel silang dalawa. What will be left is x. And then we have here. So, this is now 1 over 2a. You have your vf squared minus v squared is equal to x. Okay? Ngayon, ipa-plug in ko yung values. Okay? So, let's say 1 over 2 times your acceleration is 242.62 meter per second squared. And then your final velocity, that's 444 meter per second squared minus 0. So, solve natin siya. Let's divide this first. This is 1 divided by 2 times 242.62 times 444 squared. Yes, you will get 406.26 meters. Okay, so any of these 3 equations, as long as applicable siya, you will arrive at the same exact answer, or the same correct answer. Okay, so that is how we use these equations of kinematics for constant acceleration. So this is very important, and then I want you to familiarize these equations. No need to memorize as long as you have a copy of this one. It's very important. Okay, and then please do understand those word problems, and then you analyze it first before solving, okay, para mag-arrive tayo into a correct answer. So that's all for today. That's all for the examples for the equations of kinematics. Okay, thank you everyone. If you have questions, clarifications, and suggestions, please don't forget to message me directly sa messenger so that I can reply, and then I can find ways how to help you solve uh, problems, okay? As long as related siya sa topic natin. So that's all for today. Thank you everyone. Goodbye and excel at all times.